What is up, guys? Lego Panda Customs here, back again with another video for you guys. And today I got my review for Star Wars The Last Jedi. And guys, honestly, hands down, the second best film in the saga. And after watching the film, I did get a little bit exaggerated with my opinion about it. I really praised it to the point where I said this is the best film of the whole saga. But it really does have its issues, but I really don't think it makes the film worse as people are saying it is, because people at this point are saying like it's the worst film, and uh it is a disgrace, and it is a middle finger for Star Wars fans. And honestly, I didn't feel offended or anything along those lines. I don't know why people are exaggerating that much. So if you haven't seen Star Wars and are hearing these comments about the film, honestly, don't listen to them. Um, not even, don't even like pay attention to the Rotten Tomato score. I mean, the Rotten Tomato score is like 93%, but honestly, just don't. Just go ahead, watch the film yourself, and then come back to your home, say, okay, this was a good film, okay, this was a bad film, whatever you think afterwards, and then make your own opinion, your own conclusions and stuff. But other than that, let's get right into what I'm going to talk about. And of course, I'm going to be talking about the characters, plot, acting, effects, etc. While I just, I'm just going to keep bringing more topics or more subjects into the matter. But right now, let me just give you one warning. There will be spoilers for The Last Jedi. So if you haven't seen the film and are listening to this, please go away and come back later once you've seen the film. Or if you don't want to come back later, that's fine. But if you want to hear my thoughts, just come back here. But if you haven't seen the film, please don't watch this. Move away, because this will contain spoilers that will honestly ruin the film. Because there's a lot of things that happen in this film that are pretty quite impressive, and I think you'll be really disappointed to hear. I mean, not really disappointed on what happens, but more disappointed that you heard these things before you watched the film. So you won't get disappointed or spoiled. Please move away, because this will contain spoilers that honestly will ruin the film for you, and it's better if you don't know them right now. That way, when you see the film, it just makes the film even better. But anyways, let's just go ahead with what I first went into expecting. I expected to be a continuation of The Force Awakens, and honestly, we did not get that much of it, and that's the only issue I have with this film, is that they don't address the events that happened previously in The Force Awakens. Of course, they destroyed the Death Star, which should be significant at least, but it's really not that significant because, I don't know, they probably have another Death Star in some storage garage, whatever, in the far, far away galaxy. I'm just kidding. But, they really honestly don't, they don't really address that in this film. They really don't take it too seriously. Not even Snoke takes it seriously. That they just got defeated with one ship. I believe that's what happened in the first one. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it one ship that like destroyed an entire Star Destroyer or something like that, or Super Star Destroyer, whatever the name was, but basically Death Star number 3. But they really don't address that, and they really don't make it a big issue, which I think should be a big issue for the First Order, because they really got their ass kicked by the Resistance. And yeah, I really think they should address that. They should have addressed that. Not even like, why is Rey there? I mean, they do explain why Rey is there, of course, because she's trying to find Luke, but the motive that happened in the Force Awakens, they did not explain that, and they did not go deeply in that. So I'm kind of disappointed they forget everything about what happened in the Force Awakens. I personally did not enjoy the Force Awakens that much. Like people say, it is a great film, like the best Star Wars film or whatever. But honestly, I mean, I know that people say think that Empire Strikes is it's the best film out of the saga. But when people went to see the first movie for this new trilogy, which is The Force Awakens, people think it's like the best out of the trilogy of this new trilogy. And I really disagree with that because they really did rehash a lot of things that happened in A New Hope and other things and etc. So yeah, um, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean the negatives I have is that they not address what happened back in The Force Awakens. But that other than that, the film was great. So let's go with the acting or the actors or the characters. I think the characters did really well in this film, like over than what I expected, because I was expecting just the normal Luke Skywalker and stuff, but they honestly developed in this movie better. Even Kylo Ren, we saw him like this arrogant person and like very stubborn person in The Force Awakens, and in this film we not only get really intimidated, but we see the threat that he has into the entire galaxy. And spoiler alert, if you're still here, he kills Snoke. He really does kill Snoke. He uses his powers and turns on one of the lightsabers that Snoke had, because in the film, Rey goes directly to Kylo Ren, and he takes Rey to Snoke, and then Snoke pulls the lightsaber that she had, which was Anakin's lightsaber, to him. So he put it right beside him, and when things started to get serious, and Kylo Ren thought like, okay, Master, this is going too far, so I think I'm gonna kill you. I mean, he didn't say that, but I'm just saying like that's what kind of happened. So since he's witnessing how Rey is being tortured by Snoke, he decides to turn on the lightsaber with the Force, using the Force, and cut Snoke in half, and he dies. But he didn't did it because he wanted him to stop doing a lot of like torture to Rey, but because he thought that, what I believe personally, he was the obstacle that was in front of him all this time. Snoke was the person who was not letting Kylo Ren grow himself to what he wanted to become, like his grandfather. So by doing this act, Kylo Ren felt more free, not being guided by a Sith Lord or whatever you want to call Snoke. But that's why he did that, in my opinion, and it served really well for the character development for him, because not only we think him as a weak person in the first film, The Force Awakens, now we see him as a threat, and when he says something, it's not a joke, it's actually pretty genuine, and he really means it. So if he says like he's gonna kill some people, he will kill some people, just like his grandfather. He wasn't playing around. But yeah, the characters were really good. But the ones I think stand out the most, of course, like I said, Kylo Ren stands the most out of all, and as well as Mark Hamill reprising his role as Luke, because not only we saw Luke as this, person in the original trilogy, where everything was happy now, but after what happened to Ben, like him going to the dark side, he got really sad about it, because he felt really guilty of the fact that he let Ben go to the dark side. Because in the film, it does go more in depth on why Ben decided to go to the dark side. Because in the film, Luke Skywalker explains that he had seen Ben Solo being consumed by the dark side. He thought he was gone. There was no point of trying to bring him back to the light. So what he decided to do, what he tried to do, is to kill Ben. So one night in the Jedi Academy where they were before, during Kylo Ren or Ben Solo while he was sleeping, Luke goes into his room and turns on his lightsaber and tries to kill him, but he sees on him that they're still good. So be- before he was going to turn off his lightsaber, Ben noticed that he was there with his lightsaber trying to kill him. So it was kind of a mistake or a misunderstanding, because Luke did try to like say, "Okay, it was a mistake. I'm sorry." But it was too late when he realized it, and just Kylo, that moment, that's when Kylo like went against Luke and fully became committed to the dark side. So we do get explained on why he turned to the dark side, because he thought that his family didn't believe him, or didn't trust him in a way. They lost faith. So in a way, he got disappointed on the way his family thought, on the way he thought his family saw him or viewed him, and he thought by going to the dark side, he was gonna get more respect and stuff, and powerful. So they do explain that, and I think it served really good for both Ben and Luke Skywalker, and I enjoy that a lot. Um, so yeah, that was really impressing. It was really impressive how they did that and how they well managed that. Um, Another character who I think was really good at this, at not at, but in the film, was Rose. I know she's pretty new, but people are really exaggerating her character, because people are now comparing her, I believe, to Jar Jar Binks, which I honestly don't agree with that. I honestly, let me just be honest right here, I don't hate Jar Jar Binks as many fans, quote, Star Wars fans do. I can see why he's viewed as the worst character possible in the Star Wars universe, because he's like this character designed just for children and just for comedic relief, and also he's a really annoying character in the whole universe. But I don't think Rose applies to any of those traits at all, because Rose isn't annoying. She isn't just for children. Alright, she's a character made for children. Um, it actually served really good for the story and the plot, because her sister was also in the Resistance, but she died unfortunately. So it kind of gave her more of a purpose, or more of a motive, on why she needs to help the Rebel Alliance more, or the Resistance. So that being said, I really like Rose in this film, but I think the characters who stand out the most, I'm not saying that everybody else's acting was bad, but in my opinion, the ones who stand the most, who have more meaning and more emotions, are Luke and Ben. Um, so yeah, that's the characters. I think the characters were really amazing. I just think that Luke and Ben stand out the most in the film. The acting in this film was really amazing. Mark Hamill and Adam Driver did an amazing job as their characters as Ben, Kylo Ren, and Luke Skywalker. So I really, really enjoyed them playing their roles as these characters. Leia was, or Carrie Fisher did an amazing job. As this is her final film, of course, she did an amazing job, and by reprising her role as the princess that we know and love, Leia. So let's go now with the story. So the story, of course, has two things going on at the same time. One is Rey trying to convince Luke to help her, and also her trying to find her real meaning in this whole place, like in the trailer she said. Then we have another plot going on at the same time, which is the Resistance trying to survive them being chased by Snoke's ship. Because in the film, in the beginning, we see the Resistance fighting against the First Order. They successfully do destroy like a couple of Star Destroyers. And afterwards, they jump into light speed, and they're out of like fuel to jump again, because they really need it now, because not only they are low on fuel, but now they're being chased by Snoke himself in his ship. Um, in the film, when they jumped in light speed, at the same time, Snoke's ship, which is I think the Super Star Destroyer or something like that, um, is right behind him, and there's a couple of ships as well besides the main ship where Leia and all the people are in. And all those other ships that I mentioned, they get destroyed by the First Order, one by one, and then the last ship remaining is the one where Leia is at. Um, so that was really another plot going on at the same time. Two things, two challenges, or two, um, just basically just two things going on at the same time. Um, that was amazing. I really love the story, and I think it did serve its purpose in the film. And I really enjoyed that in the story of, them trying to escape, and Luke trying to train Rey, and also trying to help her, you know, find the true meaning of the Force. And then we have this other story as well in the film as well, which is the connection between Kylo and Rey. Not like family or anything like that, but more of the Force connection, because Snoke uses this ability on them where they have a connection now. Kind of like Dumbledore, not Dumbledore, Harry Potter and Voldemort have a connection, like telepathically, or in this case through the Force. So they talk to each other even though they're like miles behind and stuff. So they're trying to get to know each other and more. And I think eventually, since they kind of teased this in this film, we will see a little romance between Rey and Kylo. But spoiler alert, or not really spoiler, but a theory of mine, I think Ben will die in the last film to save the galaxy. Of course, he will bring balance, like just like Yoda said, you know, Luke's family or somebody in their family will bring balance to the Force, and I think Ben will bring balance to the Force by sacrificing himself for an entire galaxy against a bigger threat. Now we know that Snoke is dead, but since there's a bigger threat, I think in episode 9 he will sacrifice himself, and due to that he'll bring balance to the Force. So that's just one theory. This is one wild theory to have. But here's another spoiler, which happened in the film. Luke Skywalker does explain why the Jedi must end and all that. And then after Rey finds out what Luke did to Ben when he was in academy, like trying to kill him, she goes to Kylo to the that ship that I was mentioning earlier where Snoke is at. She went back there, or she went to him, so they can talk and trying to get more, find out more of each other. But while doing that, of course Luke is left alone on the island, and he gets visited by none other than Yoda. And Yoda, is there, and he tells him like, don't do this again. Don't do exactly what you did to Ben. Just help out. They need you. And yes, the Jedi must end. It is time. And he uses the Force and destroys the little place where the books or the Jedi books are at. If you've seen the trailers, there's like a couple of books there. Yoda destroys that, and he says, forget all this crap. Forget all this, crap of the Jedi Order and stuff. And the Jedi must end. We must bring balance to the Force by using Rey, because she will ultimately help us bring balance to the Force, by trying to make sense in Kylo's head. So I believe Rey will be also a key part for episode 9, which will of course enable Kylo to realize that he's wrong and he needs to, he needs to find a way how to, redeem himself, in which I believe is sacrificing himself for the entire galaxy. But we do get that, and then we do see a final battle at the planet of, I forgot the name, but it's basically like that snow-looking planet. It's not really snow, it's salt, but it's that planet where you see the ats and all that stuff. And we do see this final battle there. Not really huge, but after he gets visited by Yoda Luke, he decides to come and help out the Resistance by fighting against Ben. And there is a little scene where Ben and Kylo kind of fight. And after that, he's not really there. And you may say, but what do you mean he's not really there? He's not really there because he is using a Force ability to project himself across the galaxy. If you still don't know what I'm saying, basically back in Octu, where the island is at, he is meditating and using the Force to transfer himself. He's still in Octu, but he uses the Force to transfer himself to that respective location where Leia and all the Resistance is at, or the remaining of the Resistance. So Ben realizes that he's really not there, and he gets surprised by that, and then he dies. Luke dies in the film. And I was a little bit disappointed at first, but I see why they killed him off. Not only because how can I say this? Not only because he was kind of old already. He wasn't that old to the point where he needed to die. I mean, look at Obi-Wan. He wasn't that old. But it served more because it brought more meaning to the film. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it did get some fans pissed off, but honestly, in my point of view, it did bring more meaning, more emotion to the film. And I really like that decision. It was a really bold, risky decision, which it was pretty risky. Now you look at the consequences of fans hating Star Wars, but honestly, I really enjoyed that choice. And yeah, basically that's pretty much the plot of the film. It was okay. It was really original. It wasn't as good as like Empire Strikes Back, but of course it did serve its purpose, and it did give for what it is. If I explain myself, but anyways, that's really good. I like the plot, and it's really enjoyable. And yeah, the effects in this movie were fantastic. We do see the super ship, which, like I said, was Snoke's ship, get destroyed by another ship, which was the last remaining ship from the Resistance. And that lady with the purple hair, if you've seen her in the trailers or the magazines or whatever, she sacrifices herself by jumping into light speed close to that ship. So you know how light speed works, like it has to go super fast, but you need to be like in a free space where there's nothing else you can crash onto. So basically she uses that ability of the light speed and crashes through the ship, which was fantastic. The effects were brilliant on that scene, so I love that, and it was an amazing work by Rian Johnson and the special effects team. Also, the planets, Octu, and all that stuff were really amazing. The animals, or the creatures, the new creatures we are shown in the film are really impressive, and I really like the design of each, especially for porgs. Now, you may say that you hate porgs because you think they're annoying and stuff. I really love the porgs, and yes, although they do serve the purpose just to make money from kids and stuff, but I really like the porgs, and I'm actually planning to buy like a huge porg plush by myself. So one day you'll probably see that in the vlog, like a huge porg, like on my bed or something. But anyways, Other than that, the characters were amazing, and the creatures or the animals were amazing here. The story was amazing, the acting was amazing, characters were amazing, design, the effects, everything was amazing in this film. I will give this film a 9 out of 10 because I think, like I said previously in the beginning, I did not like how they did just forget everything what happened in Force Awakens and did not acknowledge it at all in this film. But other than that, a 9 out of 10. I really think this deserves a lot of praise by fans, but unfortunately it is not at the moment. The fan base is really divided right now. People like it, people don't like it. It's really divisive and a really divisive topic. It's basically talking about politics like Trump and Hillary and basically like that, but about Star Wars. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I know this was probably a little bit hard to explain. It's just been a few days since I haven't seen it, and I really did forget probably some parts of the plot. But other than that, I think this was a really, it served justice for a really normal review. But stay tuned for my last video for 2017, which is my Black Order showcase, which will be coming out 2 days after this video or 1 day after this video is uploaded. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching, and like I said, don't listen to the fans or the critics. Just go by yourself. Go yourself in person. Go watch the film and analyze it for yourself. And yeah, basically like what I said before. Like, comment, subscribe, follow my social media and stuff, and stay tuned for more. And see you guys next time. Bye.